All right. So from my experience, not necessarily everybody's, but this was what worked for me. From my experience, I recognize that that Vishnu energy is super strong. I mean, it's bright. It's so bright. You can be doing whatever you're doing, and suddenly, like, wow! And it can be anything. It can be triggered by a commercial on TV. It can be triggered by seeing a leaf falling from the tree. Think of all the one single lines that feel like you hear it, and suddenly your brain starts unspiraling. Wow! What if it means this, or what if it means that? Walking in the woods and you see a little pile of stones in a certain way on the ground, and you create a whole story in your mind about where that little pile of stones came from, who put it there, why did they put it there, why are there feathers, why are there sticks, what was going on, was this a relationship thing, is this a spell thing, is this magic stuff, what's going on, do we have a whole bunch of druids, and your brain is like spinning up like crazy. That's the Vishnu energy. If you let it, it will overwhelm the Brahma energy, because the Brahma energy feels, it's kind of mechanical and sometimes it can feel boring. The Vishnu energy is exciting, and it's vigorous because it's new. Whatever that story is, that's new, and it's so attractive, and it's so seductive. You have to do something with that. Um, because what if you keep letting that take over, you're not going to get far in your work, in your projects. And I even want to use the word work lightly. You're not going to be able to finish the creative thing you want to finish, because you're constantly being seduced by the new Vishnu energy thing. And so you end
Mm.
up with, well, I got 37 projects, I got 20 pages in, and I just couldn't finish them. Like, yes, and I know why. So once I understood what at least I thought the problem was, I naturally started thinking, how can I solve this problem? Because my professional training is in business analysts. And so it's like, okay, we've identified the problem. What's the solution? What's the solution that gives us what we need to go?
Mm.
And it was setting up a spreadsheet, because, of course. Um, but so I hypothesized that whenever I got like this sort of Vishnu burst, so there's a conflict. And here's where I think a lot of people stumble, right? So they're pulling a project along. They got the Brahma energy going on. They're doom, 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 doom. And then this Vishnu burst comes through, and like, wow, wow, this is great. And at that moment, they have a choice. And no choice is good. This is where I think people screw up. So I'm going to illustrate that part. They have to choose, or they feel like they have to choose between, either I deny this Vishnu, this burst of energy, this amazing uh, creative burst, or I deny the completion of this project. No good solutions. They're denying some aspect of themselves, of their own creativity. They're denying themselves the joy of finishing a project, getting it across that finish line, and wiping their desk clear for the next project. They're denying this creative burst. No good choices, and they hurt themselves. They psychically, if you want, or emotionally, they restrict and restrict and restrict, and they like, no, I can't look at that, can't look at that, can't look at that. I can only look at this, or I can't look at this, I can't look at this. I keep being burst by that, and you get these weird conflicts that should never be conflicts. Um, And so you get people like, oh my God, my head's exploding with ideas all the time. But what have you finished? Oh yeah, I suck. Or you get people like, yep, I've written a couple of books, but I don't know what I'm going to write about. And in each case, they have, I think, rejected one or both, or one of those or the other, so hard that it's harder for it to come back.
Mm.
I recognize this tendency in myself. So what I did was I made a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet is just super easy. It's just like, what's the idea, and write some clarification on it. Give me the title or whatever. I'm telling my brain, it's like, I don't care. I just don't want to forget it. So if I'm in the middle of pulling something along to get it over the finish line, and I get a burst, I sort of tell that one project I'm working, like, hold on for just a minute. And then I open myself to, what is this burst telling me? Because you never know what you're going to be inspired by. It could be something you're working on too. So I pop open that spreadsheet and I start writing in I just free form whatever's coming in. Like, okay, yeah, this is going to be a story about a guy who can turn people into trees and back and forth. And when he does and turns them back into people, they tell him things that he never understood about the world and the earth. And so now he's got to make a decision about whether he keeps doing it. Should he do it to everybody? What should he do? And I just improvising as I go. So then I write that down, and then I sort of ask myself, okay. So hey, Edward, who's here now, Edward, who's looking at this Vishnu burst of energy, I want to ask you, have I written enough down that you feel comfortable letting that go while I continue moving this other project across the line? And if I feel like, no, I'm missing a part, because that's where we get screwed up. We like, oh no, if I don't write it down, I'll miss it. So no, we say, if I don't make that project, that Vishnu new thing that come up, I'll forget it. Oh my God, I'll forget it. There's so many people like, I had these brilliant ideas and I totally forgot them. Like, no, I want to respect you. So I've written a paragraph here. Am I missing anything? Do you, and of course I'm talking to myself, do you feel comfortable enough with what I've written that you can let it go until I get to it later? I need a yes. But if it's no, I need to know that, because I'm going to change it as needed. I'm not going to write the whole thing. Future Edward will handle that. But I want you to get to the part where you're comfortable with this paragraph I've written. And when I tell myself, like, yep, I feel that way, then I can go, great. That's on the spreadsheet. Now let's get back to pulling this thing across the finish line. And so then I continue pulling this thing across the finish line. It's not perfect, but I would say it's 80% better than anything I've ever done. And I stumbled on it. And that whole, like, that feedback thing, checking with myself, like, are you confident enough with what I've written so that you can let this go and keep pulling this thing across? So instead of this conflict of Vishnu versus Brahma energy, I've embraced them both.
Mhm.
I like, and that checking in with myself, you have to be open about yourself and truthful with yourself, and that's always a real struggle sometimes. But like, I mean, are we good? Are we good? Are we still all in agreement that we're going to carry this one across? But we've respected that too. Like, yeah, okay, good. Now we're all focused on what we were doing, pulling this across the line, and we're all in agreement that's handled. So that spreadsheet has over 1,000 rows, Ryan, and I'm okay with that. So I'm sure, not unlike me, you have a pile of books to be read. And there may come a point in time when you look at that pile like, I am never going to read all those books. I have a pile of to be written. And that's okay. Because and I know looking at those, for each one of those, there was a moment in my life when I asked myself, have I sufficiently conveyed this idea that you feel like you can trust me and leave it in the spreadsheet and keep doing that? And I told myself, yes, let's keep doing that. And that's how I can get a project done and not lose that energy and the rollout from that, the result. And it didn't expect this, but this is the answer to your question. The result of this is that I have never, since doing that, denigrated or punched any part of my creative process. I've given each one a chance to express itself and then sit there and wait until I get back to you and then continue with this one. I'm respecting you. Now we're back here. We took a moment. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We took a moment to handle that. Now we're back here. Keep on driving. I give that respect to both of those pieces. I'm not fighting myself. I'm not denigrating myself. I'm not saying, oh, I hate this or I hate that about myself. Like, I hate working a project when I get a new thing, or I hate getting a new thing when I'm working on a project. I don't hate any of that stuff because that's not why I'm here. I'm here to connect with other people. And that includes aspects of myself. Part of myself that spotted a thing, spotted a tree with a single leaf in the middle of January. And like, what is that leaf story? That part generates a sudden flash. That part's respected. And because I'm respecting it, I'm not fighting it, I'm not hurting it, I'm not feeling threatened by it, it keeps working more and more. It's a wolf that I feed, to borrow that other illusion. Do you feed the creative wolf that generates? Now I'm really stretching this metaphor. But I feed them both. I feed them all. And uh, that I never run out, because if I ever feel like, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do, I'm going to run out of ideas, like that's never going to happen. Because first, ideas are going to be constantly suggested by everything around me. The world is full of things that trigger story ideas and people who want to talk story ideas about. But more importantly, I'm never going to lose it, and I get it in the spreadsheet. Now that said, when I get to a place, if I ever feel like I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, look at the spreadsheet. There are 1,000 things on that spreadsheet. More, it's like 1,011, I think, the last time I looked. And some of them, most of them, let's be honest, are not that great. They're just, they were random weird junk that popped into my head because I'm out walking around and I look up and I see a wire cable and it's in the shape of a face, or I'm watching my two cats look at each other and they both like jump like that. Like, what just happened there? So there's going to be stuff in that spreadsheet that's junk. That's just, it was exciting and it was action packed at the time. It burst into my head and I wrote it down and I believed, like, yeah, I got it all. I captured the idea. Good. Keep on moving. But ultimately now, I've finished a project and I'm maybe looking for the next thing to do, the next thing I want to do. And I look and I'm like, oh, there's some of these are just sort of fragments. They're not really a story. They're not really a wholly built idea. But that is, or that is, or that is. And like, wait a minute, I really like that. And every time I read these, I get that energy back.
Mhm.
That doesn't go away. It's been stored by getting myself to agree to by writing it to the point where I've agreed, I've captured the energy. That energy's still there. So I'll go back and I'll look through those things and I'll get to one thing. It's almost always get to one thing like, oh my gosh, yes, yes, that's the one I want to do. Yes. And that energy is like it never went away. And I'm not working on anything right now. So boom, it just becomes like it suddenly starts unfolding. And I'm a little more mature, a little older. I've done other projects. And so I suddenly start unfolding even more things. So that idea is even better because I've given it a chance to sort of simmer a bit. And it's not lost its edge. It's not lost its fire, but now I can add more. I can tweak more. But as I'm going through, I might say like, hey, wait a minute, this particular project, this is really cool and exciting. But you know what? There's like a character here from this other project that wasn't a full project, but I really love this character and I want to bring her in here and I want to bring that other character or that situation that was a little weird from there. It wasn't a full idea, but I kind of want to bring that person, that situation into this story too. And the thing just suddenly gets marvelously complicated.
But
And
I just love the flow of it because it's so easy for creators out there to have regret if they let an idea go and they didn't write it down or they didn't really hold on to thinking like, is this worth looking into later? But I think this format of really asking oneself, is this, can I come back to this? And I think it's just excellent. And it's something that I hope people in the audience, maybe other filmmakers or writers, can even try doing that. I mean, it's a great advice.
if it helps, I'm happy for you. I mean, free of charge. Obviously, I'm not going to have any kind of rights to that, but this has helped me tremendously. And if it helps someone else, if it helps anyone else, that's just great.